What's up, everybody? So, oh my gosh, we have been busy. I mean, real busy. See, where do I start? Let's just start with this morning. As you know, we're kind of big into RC cars, and it's kind of I don't know, one of those things that we do to kind of relax, I guess, and kind of not think about drag cars for a minute. Something different. And do it here at the house and nobody bothers us. Built this little teeny tiny track out here, I don't know, months ago I did. And it was fine for the little cars, but now we're getting into these fifth scales and they're pretty good size. So the little track just wasn't cutting it anymore. Something had to be done. Last week I called down to Sunbelt Rentals and asked them if they had a dozer available. They said, well, we do, but we don't. We've got one coming back, but it hasn't come back yet. I said, all right, call me when it's ready. Well, they called out of the blue today and said, hey, this dozer's ready. Do you want it? I said, yep, bring it on. Now, June and Chevy could see me from the house, and they were driving Vicky absolutely bonkers, barking and raising hell. So she had Tommy bring him out to see their papaw. Now you can be sure if these two see anything moving around out back with me on it, they've got to be with me. It don't matter whether it's a dozer, a tractor, lawnmower, whatever. Well, I couldn't let them ride on the dozer with me. That's too dangerous. So they had to wait a little while until I had the John Deere out. Once I had all the rough grade work done with the dozer, I brought the John Deere home so I could use the box blade to finish grade the track and start raking the big rocks off of it. Once I had most of the big rocks graded off, Billy brought his new 5th scale Losi stadium truck out to try out the new track. So Billy bought this thing at Cyclone Hobbies in Columbus. My buddy Keith Bellman hooked him up on a good deal with it. Unfortunately, Keith only had one of them, so I'm waiting to get mine in. I've got 2 buddies from high school that have these things also, and they're just itching to come out and race. So that's the new street racing channel Super Speedway out back for the RC cars. I'm gonna plant grass out there in the middle. Might put a little fire ring out there or something. I don't know, we'll see. Pretty excited about that. The backyard used to be like that when we first moved in here years ago, and the kids used to go back here and play, and I think Billy had a field goal set up back there and stuff, so we're all kind of excited to have the backyard back the way it used to be. We're close. In other news, Kenny put new lights in the side of the trailer. We've only had one working side light on the trailer, work light on the side of the trailer for, I don't know, a couple of years, maybe longer than that. But Kenny went to Home Depot and got us some brand new LEDs. And he put those in today. So I went out to test those. Those work really good. Lights up the whole backyard out there like it's daylight. Let's see, what else? We've got the oil changed in the dually, transmission fluid changed in the dually, the Suburban's oil's been changed. Oh, I got new AC controls for both the dually and the Suburban. They're in down at Mark's. I got to go pick those up tomorrow. Let's see, what else is new? Oh, we went testing last night. We made a couple little test hits to get ready for dig or die. We hadn't put this thing on a virgin road with the power that it's got now. The old engine It used to have a lot more compression, smaller heads, made a lot more low end power. And to be honest, we struggled on really bad surfaces with it. Like, it was hard to kill that thing. The new engine has lower compression, bigger heads, so typically that should kill low end. Plus, we changed from a 180 low gear set to a 169 this year. Dion Vickers up at Vickers Performance Transmissions hooked us up on a 169 gear set. So with all those things considered, hopefully this thing will go down a virgin road much easier than what it used to. But there's only one way to find out. Now, testing for dig or die is extremely difficult, mainly because it's hard to find a surface as bad as Rockingham in the shutdown. It's extremely coarse, and even here in Ohio, we don't have a road anywhere near as bad as the blacktop at Rockingham. We do have one road near our house that's safe to test on, maybe 1 or 2 hits at the most, but you have to be quick. The road is fairly coarse. It's a little bit dirty. It's honestly the closest thing that we can think of to replicate what we're going to face when we get to Rockingham. When we finally make it to the spot, we have to be very efficient, very quick. One wrong move, too much time taken, spent in the road, and we run the risk of getting caught. Now, outside of the obvious reasons to test, one thing we always want to check is to make sure the truck will actually do a burnout with the additional ballast that we run for dig or die. If it won't do a burnout, it's very difficult to make a clean pass. Tire tracks. That's not bad for one water burnout in sentiment. The solid black marks tell us that the air pressure in the tires was good. The length of the black marks tells us how long it takes the truck to finally hook the tire. From what I saw and what we see on the road, the truck hooked the tire dead solid after the gear change into high gear. Missed a little bit in low gear. He was probably pulling considerable amount of timing out of it, and this is the first time we've ever actually tried to put a hot pass down with this engine on a bare road. So let's see what he says.
607, 124 letting out early.
Now, the truck was pulling extremely hard in high gear, and the tire tracks show no wheel speed. Billy let out just a little bit early before the 8th mile, but the draggy shows the truck was headed for a low 130 mile an hour trap speed in the 8th mile. In the high gear, the black tracks went away.
I short shifted a little bit just because I knew my boost ramp was coming in pretty hard.
Billy also used the dump valves from 0.2 to 0.6 seconds into the run. The dump valves allow the converter to flash at a higher stall speed and allow it to slip just enough to let the tires hook. Use the dumps for 0.4 of a second?
Yeah.
Just to catch it after it left.
Yeah. Just to get it softened up a little bit so that while it's trying to grab the converter a little bit, it likes to flash it a little higher. That's a pretty good hit. I mean, that's 160 is about all you're going to do at dig or die. first round.
After discussing the test hit and going over the data on the draggy, we decided to make a few little changes. Billy wanted to not pull timing on the hit and bring the boost ramp in a little bit faster to see if the truck would hold more power in high gear. We're looking for the edge of what the tires will hold after the gear change. So we decided to make one more hit on the way back home. Only this time, no burnout. We're trying to put the truck in the worst possible conditions and still make a clean hit. Now this time the truck showed more wheel speed in low gear and a little bit of wheel speed after the gear change in high, but it still cleared up midway through high gear. I expected the draggy to show the overall ET to be slower, but the mile an hour should have been a lot better. By this time, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So Billy shuts the truck off as he comes up the road, as we've done a million times. He knows exactly how far he can coast, shutting the engine off 3 doors down. This time, I only needed to give it just a little bit of a push on the back of the cab to get him in the garage. What?
Everything seems very fishy right now. Y'all come rolling in silence like it's...
Oh, stop it. Just trying to not be loud to the neighbors.
Oh, that's okay.
I still let out early. It's headed for 1:30 for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That was 128.5, and that was the worst pass. It feels super good, like, once it gets out there though. Like, it's just straight as an arrow, and it's trucking.
I like those tires.
Yeah.
I think those tires are the truth. I know it sounds bad when it's popping in low gear, but it's helping it.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds like traction control. If people
Well,
thought,
that's what I was trying to do.
I know, but
Emulate.
You're right.
Simulate.
but when people hear it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's got traction control," and it's really you're just pulling so much timing, the engine can't hardly run.
Well, you're guessing that it's gonna,
Right.
rather than the computer doing it, you're guessing that it's gonna have to do that.
Billy box.
Billy box. Still, even though I didn't pull timing there, when I let go of the brake, it still like loses RPM a little bit just because I don't have that much boost in it. Once I let go of the brake.
So, in all honesty, once the starting line starts to come around, you may not have to pull any timing. It may take it.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even do a burnout. Nothing. We just stopped and hit it. So by the time you put 50 or 60 cars down, they're all pouring glue. The starting line will come around good enough to hold probably without pulling timing out of it.
I mean, if we're not like a first early pairing, I probably won't have to pull any timing.
But if you are an early pairing, we've got to.
But here's the thing. I know what that was 60 foot, you know. If I do pull timing, it's a 160, 159, and that's faster than I've ever gone at Digger Dye, 60 foot, I think. My best is like a 161. So,
And at least if you have to pedal it, we know it'll come back.
yeah, I shouldn't have to pedal it.
the bypass is actually pretty decent.
Yeah. That tune-up should go down pretty much anything, and it was, had I not let out before the 8th, it probably would have been a 590. And the second pass that I made over there, it went faster, mile an hour, even though the 60 foot was 2/10 slow. It only lost a 1/10. So that tells me that my boost ramp was a lot better on the second run. I just needed to pull timing like I did on the first run, and it would have probably been in the 80s.
So if we would have put the timing retard together with the boost ramp of the second run, both of them together, we would have had a really, really, really fast pass.
Really good pass. So, and that's probably a final round tune-up for dig or die, honestly, if it's going 80s. I'll probably have to tame the boost ramp down a little bit for first round. Just let it come in a little later. I think the retard, the timing retard at the hit, will probably be pretty close. I don't think it'll knock the tire off on that.
So that's how testing went last night. Now, I would have liked to put a few more laps on the truck and do a little bit more testing. However, at this point, the more laps we make testing, the more laps we have on the tires. And we need every ounce of those tires to get through possibly some Mexican action Thursday night, and then make it to the finals at Dig or Die. So, since we've been to Dig or Die before and we've got a really good handle on the truck right now, and we feel like we've got a really good idea what that surface can hold, I think the changes we've made to the truck are going to make the truck much more competitive than the last time we were there. We'll be able to bring in boost earlier in the run and probably put more boost to it out the back. And we've put a lot of boost to it before. So, it's dinner time. Vicky's got dinner ready in there, and I need to finish this video up. So we plan on leaving tomorrow night to head down to North Carolina. Rockingham Dragway, Dig or Die. See y'all there.